Hi, I'm Ambie and I play puzzle games, and today I'm going to be showing you how to play Clues by Sam, which is a daily puzzle game which I play every day. So Clues by Sam is at cluesbysam.com. Here it is. I'm going to be playing the tutorial. When you go to the website, it pops up with play a tutorial or start, and you can start, but I'm not going to show you the daily game because that changes every day. But there is a nice tutorial. So there's actually a couple of tutorials. And if you scroll down, it shows you the rules of the game. But basically, the gist of the game is there's a grid of 4 by 5 characters, so 20 characters total, and you're trying to figure out who is innocent and who is criminal. I'm actually going to change the settings. There's different settings that you can change for the different things, like different font. There's corner tags, which are like a note-taking system. But what I'm going to do is change the color and mode. I think it might help with color blindness. It's usually green and red for innocent and criminal, but here I'm changing it to blue and yellow. So yeah, I did do a tutorial on this before. You can go check that out. But a lot of things have been added since then. That was early on in the game, and there's lots of new things. But here it says how to play. So your goal is to figure out who's criminal, who's innocent. You can tap on them and say if they're criminal or innocent, but there's no guessing. So if I say here and say it's a criminal, oh, there's not enough evidence. So you need to actually use the hints to figure out who is innocent and criminal. And the hints are all given by people. Everyone's going to be speaking the truth, even if they're criminal or innocent. Criminals speak the truth, innocents speak the truth. The jobs, it has names and jobs for everyone. The names are actually in alphabetical order. And then jobs this is Alice is a pilot, Frank is a pilot here. And also the jobs are written, and also the little symbols, emoji things are the jobs. See all the guards have that guard emoji. The jobs also have nothing to do with whether they're innocent or criminal. There could be a criminal cop or an innocent. I don't know if thief is a job, but if thief were a job, it could be an innocent. So yeah, there's also some tutorial videos. That's me. There's also some tips. It tells you people in alphabetical order by name. I'm not going to read all of these to you because we'll see them. You can tap on the right corner of each card to add a color tag to keep track of things. There's also corner tags on the bottom. These corner tags, you can change colors like that. You can also hold click to do another corner tag so this is the top left and the bottom left, like that. Some clues refer to people or jobs and it will bold them, which I will show you while I'm playing the tutorial. For clarifying details, so the website has, if you scroll down here, there's a lot of clarifying details of the keywords. What things mean. So it'll say connected means a chain of orthogonal adjacency, and it gives an example. And what neighbors means directly to the left or whatever direction means the person that's connected to them, the neighbor that's right next to them. Basically, I'll just go through the tutorial. So first, it's always going to start with one person highlighted, and that person's already a free spot, but it says Frank, pilot. Jane is innocent. She's the decoder directly below me. Click on her. So here, Jane is innocent. So you click on her and you can click innocent. So correct. And then Jane says all of us 3 coders are innocent. You notice it bolded the coder because sometimes it's kind of hard to see who's a coder. If you toggle it, see how the coder is bolded. So now I see okay, this is a coder, this is a coder, and this is a coder. And luckily Jane said there's 3 coders, so I'm not looking for any more. So 1, 2, 3 innocents. Also, when you're done with a clue and you don't need it anymore, you can click it to dim it. So I don't need those clues because I've done those. Now, Kevin says, everyone always speaks the truth, even criminals, which I told you. Leo says, both persons above me are criminal. So that's these 2 people are criminal. So I can click on it and go criminal, and then click on this one and go criminal. And then I can dim this clue because I'm done. Here, Dave says, my column is the only column with exactly 2 criminals. So now we know that Dave's column, this is a column D, has exactly 2 criminals. So these are 2 criminals already. So that means that these ones have to be innocent. So I click here, here. And actually Hilda also gives a hint there. Dave and I are in the same column. The coders are in the same row. Okay, yeah. That's telling you a row is this way and the column is this way. So yes, I'm not going to dim Dave yet because he says their column is the only column with exactly 2 criminals. That means that other columns do not have exactly 2 criminals. So it might still be useful in the future. Alice has 3 innocent neighbors. So Alice, I always click on it to see where it is. But also, if you know your alphabet well, you can know that Alice is going to be at the beginning because names are in alphabetical order. Alice has 3 innocent neighbors. So the neighbors are the people next to Alice, touching them. So the neighbors of Gabe are these 8 people surrounding them, including diagonals. Alice, since Alice is in the corner, only has 3 neighbors. 1, 2, 3. But Alice has 3 innocent neighbors. Therefore, all of these 3 neighbors are innocent. I'm going to click there, innocent, and I can dim this out. Then I'm going to click this, or look at this. Tom, guard, click on a clue repeatedly to see the referred name bounce. Yes, I've already showed you that. Bob is a teacher. Neo is a criminal, it says. So Neo, bounce, bounce, bounce. There's Neo. So we know Neo is a criminal. And that clue is done. Erica says, as you see, also diagonals count as neighbors. Yes. Neo says, since I'm a nice criminal, I'll give you a free hint. Remember Dave's clue. So this is why we did not dim Dave's clue. So remember, D is the only column with exactly 2 criminals. That means that B cannot have 2 criminals. If Ray were a criminal, then there would be 1, 2 criminals here, and then this would have 2 criminals. So therefore, Ray cannot be a criminal, and Ray has to be innocent. Ray says, I'm the only innocent pilot on the edges. Therefore, Alice must be. So let's look at the other. Alice is also a pilot on the edge, but cannot be another innocent pilot on the edge. So therefore, Alice must be criminal. And that's the only other pilot on the edge, so we can dim Ray. Alice says, I'm one of 2 criminals above Quinn. Also keep Dave's clue in mind. So now we know that Quinn has 2 criminals above them, including Alice. So that means one of these 2 is a criminal. So you remember we can tag in the corners. So we can say like there's 1 criminal among these 2. But if there's 1, 2 criminals here, and Dave's column is the only column with exactly 2 criminals, if this is also criminal, wait, let me do that. Okay, so let's say one of these 2 is criminal. If this is also criminal, that's the color of criminal here. This one and this one, this would be 1, 2, 3. If this is innocent, sorry. If this is innocent, then there would be 1, 2 criminals here, right? So this cannot be innocent because this column would have exactly 2 criminals. That means this has to be criminal. 2 criminals in column A, neighbor Frank. So Frank is here. Frank's neighbors are these ones around it, kind of like a Minesweeper type thing. 2 criminals in column A, neighbor Frank, mean that out of these 3 people, there are 2 criminals. Alice is already a criminal. Erica is already innocent, so we know that Izzy is a criminal to make 2 criminals there. And then remember from Alice's clue that there were 2 criminals above Quinn. So 1, 2, that means this one must be innocent. And we also had the tags here where 1 was criminal and 1 was innocent. So there. You can also click this button to clear tags. So now this clue is done. This clue is done. The Izzy says, if you're stuck, try using the hint button below the grid. There's a hint. I guess I can show you that. Okay, let's read this first. 2 persons in row 3 have a criminal directly above them. So here, this is row 3. Criminal directly above means like the person above. So directly above Jane is Frank. So right now, the only criminal directly above someone in row 3 is Hilda, is directly above Leo. That's 1 person in row 3 that has a criminal directly above them. So in order for 2 people in row 3 to have a criminal directly above them, then Kevin also has to have a criminal above them because there's no other criminals in row 2. And that's the only spot. But let's see what a hint shows. So when you click show hint, it will highlight the clue that you need to look at. Because like sometimes there's multiple clues, right? We have a couple of clues that can still be used. So it's like, okay, now we need to focus on this clue and see what happens. And if you're still not sure, you can click show more and it will show you which character you can discover from that clue. Sometimes there's multiple clues working together. So the hint will show like multiple clues and then the character that you can figure out. So two people in row 3 have a criminal directly above them, so that's a criminal. One of the 2 farmers is innocent, but you remember you can't guess. So the farmers are here. Let's see. So one of these is innocent, but we cannot guess. Also, if you can't, you can inspect this to see it bigger if it's too hard to read. All right, but here, I'll put these tags here again. So remember, we know one of these is innocent, therefore one of these is criminal. And remember, Dave's clue is still in use. If one is innocent and one is criminal, that means there's 1 criminal here, 1 criminal here. That's 2 criminals in column C. If this is innocent, then that's exactly 2 criminals, which it cannot be. So therefore, this one has to be criminal. So even though this is pointing to these ones, this is the one that we figure out. And now it says all innocents in my column are connected. So let's clear tags and show if this one is a criminal. Yellow is criminal, right? If this is criminal, then this is innocent, right? Because there was one of them is criminal and one's innocent. Then these innocents would not be connected to each other. If we look at the clarifying rules, connected means a chain of orthogonal adjacency, so like next to each other. For example, all criminals in row 1 are connected means there are no innocents between any 2 criminals in that row. A group of one person is considered connected, so it doesn't have to be at least two. Okay, yeah, so all innocents in my column are connected. Like, you're only looking at the column for connection though, because like here, I mean, it could be connected through here, but that's not what it means by connected in the column. So we're looking at C3 needs to be connected to any other innocents. So therefore, it can't be like this because there's a criminal between these two innocents. So that means Olga has to be the innocent farmer and Sue is the criminal farmer. So we go innocent and criminal. And then they say all choices must be logical. Oh, unsolved. Yay. And so in the daily one, it'll show you your time and it'll have a share button where you can share, and it shows you like a little grid. Green means you got it right. The square, I think, means you used a hint. Let me see. Down here. Oh, it means you made, it made a mistake. Yeah, I showed you how mistakes are. So that means you made a mistake. The circle, if it were yellow, means you used a hint. And then the orange circle means you used the hint twice. Like, I used the show more on the hint. And then you can close and look at the text again. Olga said all choices must be logical and all logical choices are accepted. What are you going to do? Sue me? The name is Sue. Yeah, so in the actual game, the dailies, it has a lot of flavor text in some of the characters where they aren't giving clues, because not everyone gives a clue. So I like reading the flavor text. It sometimes has funny things. So that was tutorial 1, the basics. Now let's move on to tutorial number 2. Larry is a coder. Cops can also be criminal. In this case, both of them are. All right, so now we already know. Both cops are criminals. Ha. Connected means they are next to each other. Both innocents below me are connected. So we already know what connected means, but yes, both innocents below me are connected. So in this case, there are 2 innocents below Joy out of these 3 people. So in order for them to be connected, if the 2 innocents is this one, and this is a criminal, then that's not connected. See how it would be innocent, criminal? We don't want a criminal between them. So that means that this cannot be the criminal. It has to be either these 2 are innocent or these 2 are innocent. All right, so that means this one has to be innocent, and then one of these 2 is innocent. Both criminals in my row are connected. This is the same logic, but with criminals instead of innocents and rows instead of columns. So like, it's still 3 out of 3, 2 are connected, and so the middle one has to be a criminal. There are exactly 2 innocents above Terry. So Terry has 2 innocents above Terry. So Terry has these 3 people above them. So there's already 1 criminal. So in order for there to be exactly 2 innocents, then both of these have to be innocent. So there's 1, 2 innocents above. And then remember, this one had both innocents below me. That means that there's only 2 innocents because both. So that those 2 are the innocents, and this one must be criminal. And we can dim this one. And we can also dim this one because there's 2 innocents above Terry. Now we can read the other clues. There's a lot of clues now to read. Oh, Nicole says you can dim used clues like Larry's by tapping on them, which I've already shown you. Flora says take a hint if you're stuck. The button is below the grid, which we've showed you as well. Zabi says both guards are innocent. So the guards, let's look at them. They're here. Both guards are innocent. So we can go innocent, innocent. And then Terry, and Mary's also reminding us about Terry. Don't forget to fully explore Terry's clue. Both criminals in my row are connected. So that means there's 2 criminals in Terry's row. Right now we only have 1 criminal and 1 extra spot that we don't know. So that has to be the criminal. Stella says there is only 1 innocent in row 2, but we can't yet know who. So there's 1 innocent between those 2. And we don't know who yet, so we're going to look at Oscar's clue. Larry has exactly 4 innocent neighbors. Larry has 1, 2 innocent neighbors here. Remember from Stella's clue, there's only 1 innocent in row 2. So between these 2 people, there's only 1 innocent. And Larry has 4 innocent neighbors. So 1, 2, we still know there's only 1 innocent from these, right? From Stella's clue. So 1, 2, 3 innocents. There's only 1 more person that's in Larry's neighbors, because Larry's neighbors are these. So this one has to be innocent. If this were criminal, then Larry would have 1, 2, only 3 innocents and no other neighbors to be innocent. So this neighbor has to be innocent. Claire has exactly 3 innocent neighbors. So Claire, similar to the Larry situation here. So Claire has these 4 neighbors unaccounted for. This is already a criminal, but like this is only 1 innocent, and then 2, 3 would make 3 innocent neighbors if they're all innocent. So these 2 are innocent in order to make it 3. Bruce has only 1 innocent neighbor. So once again, out of all of these 3, there's 1 innocent between these 2, which we remember from Stella's clue, and also because I tagged it. That means that Claire is not innocent. And also we can dim some of these because they're kind of overlapping. Donald is saying, remember to dim clues you no longer need to keep track of what's relevant. Claire says there are more innocent coders than innocent teachers. So now we have to look at the coders and the teachers, which we can look at the names, which are bolded here, and also the emoji things. So these two are coders, I think, and these two are teachers. I think that's it. I don't see any other ones. So it says there are more innocent coders than innocent teachers. Right now there's 1 and 1. So in order for there to be more, then there has to be another innocent coder. So this one has to be innocent. Since there's no other coders and teachers, and this one has to be innocent, and that has to be criminal. Because if this teacher were innocent, then the coder would be criminal, and there would be 2 teachers and 1 coder. So the coder is innocent, and the teacher is criminal. We can clear tags. That is done. This Gus says, oh bugger, I thought I'd get away this time. So that's just flagrant text. The teacher being a criminal, thought he'd get away. Helen says both criminals in row 5 are connected. So row 5, that means, this tells us a lot actually. It tells us that there are 2 criminals in row 5, exactly 2 because both criminals, and then they're connected. That means that they're touching each other. So we already have a criminal here. That means that if the criminal is either of these 2, it's not connected to this one because the other ones would be innocent. So it has to be this one in order to be connected to this criminal. So this is a criminal, and then that's all of the criminals in row 5, which means the rest are innocent. But Wally says, Gus, you'd better get used to this. In the end, we're always caught. Yep. And Vince says, you can change colors, fonts, and more in settings. Yeah. And then you'll learn more tricks in the next tutorial. Yes. Solved. But yes, as I showed you before, you can change colors and stuff, fonts, and other things in settings. But I won't do that now. All right, tutorial number 3, the last tutorial. Phil says 2 persons in a corner have an innocent directly to the right of them. All right, so this is another type of clue. The corners are these 4 squares, A1, D1, A5, and D5. Directly to the right means like Brian is directly to the right of Aaron. Dana has no one directly to the right of them, and neither does Zoe. So that when it says 2 persons in a corner have an innocent directly to the right of them, because these 2 corners have no one directly to the right, we know it has to be these 2 corners. So we know that the innocent directly to the right is Wanda, and Brian must be innocent from that clue. Brian says you can use tags to support your memory. Just tap on a corner, which I've showed you. You can also hold down and do other colors. Brian and Jerry have 2 criminal neighbors in common. So Brian and Jerry. So for common neighbors, you look at the neighbors of each person. Brian's neighbors, I'm going to highlight here in yellow. And Jerry's neighbors, I'm going to highlight on the bottom left in teal. Okay. So to show you how overlapping works. All right. So these teal are Jerry's neighbors, the bottom left tag, and the top left tag is Brian's. Those are Brian's neighbors. And so when they say neighbors in common, it's the ones that are both of their neighbors. So you can see the ones with both tags are Cheryl and Gary. So they only have these 2 neighbors in common. So when you look like the overlapping neighbors, it's these 2. And they say they have 2 criminal neighbors in common. So out of the 2 neighbors that they have in common, they have 2 criminal neighbors, which means they're both criminals. You go like that, and then clear the tags. And when there's 2 types of flags, you can, it has buttons for each one. So you can only clear the top ones or only clear the bottom ones. All right, Cheryl says Dana and Jerry have only 1 criminal neighbor in common. So I'm not going to do the tags again for the criminal neighbors, but Jerry's criminal neighbors are here, or Jerry's neighbors, and Dana's neighbors are here. So Dana only has these 3, and Jerry has all these. But like the common ones are Cheryl and Clay. So they only have 1 criminal neighbor in common, which means like Cheryl is already a criminal. So that's their criminal neighbor in common. So Clay must be innocent from that. Gary says long pressing instead of tapping gives you more colors. Oh, I already showed you that. Dana and Uma, that's this one, have an equal number of innocent neighbors. All right, so Uma here, Dana and Uma each have 3 neighbors, these ones and these ones. So Dana right now has 1 innocent and 1 criminal. Uma has 2 innocents, and that's all we know. So Dana has to have at least 2 innocents. They have to have, if they have an equal number of innocent neighbors, they have to have at least 2. So they could have 2 or 3 innocent neighbors. But Dana cannot have 3 innocent neighbors because Cheryl is already a criminal. So Dana can only have 2 innocent neighbors because she only has 3 total. Therefore, Jerry must be innocent. And for Uma to have the same number, Uma can only have 2 innocent neighbors, so Ruth has to be a criminal. Jerry says there are exactly 2 criminals below me. We don't know which ones yet, so we're going to read the other clue. Ruth says there are exactly 3 innocent guards. So let's look at the guards. There are, I think I only see 3 guards total. 1, 2, 3. And if there are 3 innocent guards, that means all of them are innocent. So we go there. Larry says there is no official way to use tags. Try experimenting with them. All right. Yes, you can do whatever you want with the tags. Tags are just like notes for you. Megan says Oscar has exactly 4 innocent neighbors. So 1, 2, that means 2 of these are innocent. So now let's look at these 2 clues. So Jerry says there are exactly 2 criminals below me. If this is a criminal, if those 2 are the criminals and this is the innocent, right? Because if 2 criminals, 1 innocent, that's what this clue means. Below is under that person in the column. Then Oscar has exactly 4 innocent neighbors. 1, 2, these would be criminal. This, even if this was innocent, like 1, 2, 3, you need 1 more here. So these 2 cannot be both criminal. That means this one has to be a criminal, and one of these has to be innocent, right? So remember, like the one of, I'm using that tag now to show that one of them is innocent. Not sure which one, but if one of those is innocent, 1, 2, 3, 4, then Oscar can have 4. They can't both be innocent because there have to be 2 criminals below Jerry. If they're both innocent, then there's only 1 criminal. So there's 1 innocent here. And so we know now that there's a criminal here and an innocent there in order for Oscar to have exactly 4 innocent neighbors, because there's at most 1 innocent here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is innocent and this is criminal. All innocents in column D are connected. So column D is this one. All innocents are connected here. Like there's 2 innocents here. If they were criminal, it would not be connected. So we need this to be innocent in order to be connected. I can dim this one now, even though we don't know if these are innocent, but like whether or not these are innocent or criminal, it's still connected to all the innocents. So we don't need that anymore. Here, all innocents in column C are connected. Zalby says, remember to tap on clues to quickly find reference names and jobs. Okay. But Oscar says all innocents in column C are connected. So if Sarah were an innocent, then this were criminal, then those would not be connected. So therefore this one has to be innocent and this one has to be criminal. And now here, these 2 are satisfied, so I can dim those. Noah says only 1 person in a corner has exactly 2 criminal neighbors. And then Sarah says long pressing works anywhere, no need to hit the corner. Oh, so I can I didn't know that. I don't do the long pressing that much. Only 1 person in a corner has exactly 2 criminal neighbors. So we can look at everyone in the corner. So Zoe has 1, 2 criminal neighbors. So Noah is talking about Zoe here as the person that has exactly 2 criminal neighbors. And let's double check. Uma, we already know, okay, only has 1. Dana only has 1. But Aaron has an unknown here. So for only 1 person to have exactly 2 criminal neighbors, that's Zoe. We know that's Zoe. So if this were a criminal, that would be 1, 2 criminal neighbors for Aaron. We don't want that because only Zoe can do that. So is it Zoe or Zoe? Anyway, I'm not great with names. Aaron. So Aaron, this has to be innocent in order for Aaron not to have 2 criminal neighbors as well. And we can dim that because that is now satisfied. Flora says Aaron is one of 2 innocents in the corner. So we know Aaron is innocent. We know there's 1 more innocent and then 2 criminals because that's what's left. Dana is the only criminal in column D. So now we know Dana is criminal. And since Dana is the only criminal, that means that everyone else in column D is innocent, including Zoe or Zoe. Dana says long pressing on the bottom half adds a tag to the bottom right corner, or left, I guess. In this case, it's left. I think in settings, you can change where the tags are. Yeah, here. So here now they're on the right. Okay, tagging can be vital in harder puzzles. Yep. All right, so Aaron is one of 2 innocents in the corner, so we already know now there are 2 innocents, so then this last one is criminal. That's a lot of info and tagging. My head is spinning. Yay! All right, so that was all the tutorials for Clues by Sam. Puzzles get harder throughout the week. It's a good idea to start from Mondays. Yes. So, and I guess it saves now. You can do Monday's puzzle. So I think it might save the puzzles throughout the week here now. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you can do them every day, or you can do the ones earlier in the week. But they have a difficulty level. Easy. Today is a Thursday, so it's a tricky one. So there's easy, medium, tricky, and then I think I've seen brutal and I think evil. I'm not sure if any of the dailies have been evil, but there are some community puzzles also and bonus puzzles if you sign up to the newsletter, you can do those, or you can sign up for an account to be able to play last week's puzzles and also some of the community puzzles, I think. Because a lot of people have made their own puzzles. There's also a puzzle making interface, I think. I'm not sure if that's available to everyone yet, but that's how you play Clues by Sam. Every day there's puzzles. There's bonus puzzles if you sign up for the newsletter. And also you can subscribe for like the archive of all of the puzzles, which is a lot of puzzles, and they're fun. The daily ones have cute flavor text and some that like goes together and stuff. Sometimes it tells a little story or has puns or something. I always like reading the flavor text. So that's Clues by Sam. Hopefully this helps you learn to play it. And if you have any more questions, you can always like look at the clarifying details for specific terms. But yeah, just play more and you'll get better at it as you play more, because you'll get more used to the types of clues and what information you can get from each type of clue. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. Hope that helps. And you can play this every day and check out other daily puzzle games too. I have a playlist of some that I've played. Thanks for watching. Bye.